Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our journey now on a upgraded equipment of a mic. I finally decided to invest in a new mic. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know how it sounds to you. Okay, yesterday we talked about 高下立判. We use 高 and 下 to indicate high performers and low performance, and instantly you can judge, you can tell, you can distinguish between the two. So that's our 高下立判. And today we have 山高水长. It's another highly compact way of Chinese expressing some awesome concept. Here we go. 山高水长. We have two major natural elements, which is 山 and 水. And you can see both of them are visually representing. It's almost like the most abstract paintings of humans to represent what is the generic mountain and generic river. And by the way, here, river, we use 水, water, as a representation of river, because water back then was not ever existed, was not in a tap water form. So water is not like come in a glass, just as convenient as that. Water exists in nature, in the streams. So oftentimes, ancient Chinese expressions, water is simply another way of saying it's river or stream, something flowing out in the nature. That's our water. Okay, so here we don't really need to spend much time to explain, except that both of them comes in this three, the form of three to represent many. The mountain will have the peak, the highest in the middle, and then symmetrically two on each side to represent the ridges of mountain. It's not just one, it's a cluster of peaks together. So that's our mountain image. And water, we have the center is the mainstream, right? And then the side kind of interrupted, not on a continuous line. And you can kind of see river will have this riverbed, probably the deepest in the middle portion, right? So that's kind of continuation of flow. But on each side, as it gets closer to the shore or to the banks, and then more interruptions, the fallen logs or stones will interrupt the flow. So it's quite observant of the language creators to show that the center is continuation, the side kind of got interruption. And that's our river, abstraction to represent what water is, which was in ancient time actually means water in nature. Okay, and 高 and 长 are both kind of a descriptor to define what this mountain and river is about. So 高, yesterday we talked about it's something tall coming from the architecture of, if it's a tower, it's tall, 2-story long at least. You can see this oval shape kind regarded as the window, and here the arch to mean some structure, right? Like an arch is enough to be a shelter to hold a person in. So this is the kind of scale of, this is almost like 1-story tall. This is the rooftop, not the rooftop, the ceiling for that 1-story, and then there's window, and on top of that 2nd story we have another layer. And then this is the ultimate rooftop with a tip on the center. If you ever observed the ancient, Asian architecture, especially East Asia, they do have this tilted rooftops. And we use that architecture, towering image to abstract that tall, because that kind of tall is in relevance to humans, right? Humans, we are as tall as probably the first layer. Most of us, unless you're a giant. So first layer is as tall as however we are for the most population. And then on top of that, 2nd layer there, and then the roofs. So that visually just representing it's really tall in relevance to the viewer, humans. And 长, okay, 长 is a 3 parts component. I really like the way language creators piece it together, because probably this is one of the, I wouldn't say this is the only one, but this is a very representing a type of language creation, which is a shared border. So in terms of efficiency of use that space, this border horizontal line is shared by both the top portion and the bottom portion. So it's not, no need to repeat to draw 2 lines, even if it's a component for each individual concept. So the top portion with this horizontal line and this kind of flipped L shape, right? So it flipped, and this is the whole image is flipped upside down concept of death. And actually by flipping it, it means immortal, like undying, the negation of death. Why is death? Because when it's flipped down, we have this L shape. Here is the ground, and this is the lower ground, kind of pointing downward. So that's our lower ground. And then we have this human figure. So right now it's flipped like this, right? In its original form, in the character means death, which sounds like Wang. It's a human figure. So human figure trying to hide something underground, and then with a cover on the top. So this concept means that person either is hiding or permanently disappearing underground, which is our very indirect way to say somebody go underground forever, our death concept. So by flipping it, it means non-death. It means immortal, means lasting forever. And then the bottom portion is with this 2, almost like a bottleneck kind of shape, right? That's a stylized way to write out this basic Chinese character, which is just human figure, looks like this, right? And when we have a horizontal line indicate on the top, you know, kind of placing horizontal line right on the tip of that is visually difficult too, right? So we kind of separate the 2 lines a little bit, give it a little stability there, and then place the horizontal line. That still means the highest point on the human figure, which is our head, right? So that in contemporary Chinese, that structure, human figure with horizontal line covered on top, means actually bald, means non-hair head. But that's one way, one interpretation. On the second interpretation is human figure, the highest point. And the highest point, regardless of hair or not, that's a second derivative of the concept. The original is like more closer to the original meaning, is pointing toward the highest point of a human lens. So that is Chinese way to expressing the highest. It's high ground, something, you know, because we measure it by the human height, right? So the highest point. So we use that as high. And then there is almost like F, English letter F, and that's our change symbol. According to some scholar, it came from a flipped, another kind of a flipped image of human figure. So human figure, one way to write is like this. Another way is to write like this. And you can see this is kind of, if you change the proportion, it almost looks like a F, letter F, but right, it stand up like this. And this letter is simply further flipping of that human figure in this original form. And we use that to mean humans, we change. And that's our change concept. So we have a change plus the highest point on the human body, plus the non-dying, the forever lasting. All 3 components put together means something in a long, like on a tall scale and a long lasting in terms of change. So I feel like this is the ancient language creator way to tell people to zoom out. Place yourself outside your limited scope of your daily observation. Look long term and also scale up, stand on a high ground, have a vantage point, so to speak, so that you can observe on the biggest possible scale for your conclusion about things, instead of just random whatever encounters you have. Look at more data, basically. So that eventually the embedded meaning of the original simplified, narrowed down to something long, which is quite one-dimensional, right? Length, it's just one-dimensional, but originally it does have this time, long-lasting time embedded in the spatial sense of tall ground, this scale. So 山高水长, my tongue twisting is not even that hard to pronounce. 山高水长, okay, that's the normal Chinese speed. Means, just by the literal meaning, mountains are tall, rivers are long. It's a Chinese poetic way to say, look at something large scale, as if you're looking at the tall mountains and the forever flowing long rivers. And that's, I use this picture to mean the mountains. Look at things with the lens to zoom out, to look at as if it's high mountains. And then you look at rivers, waters forever flowing. 山高水长. So something in we don't really use the word in our daily language that much. But when we do use it, 山高水长, it means almost like take a step back, take ourselves outside of our small scope, rescope how you observe things, and then with that concept, almost instantly, it gives you a new pair of eyes to look at things, your the personal individual encounters, and go on a bigger scale and longer term, so that you can see things in more context and in its right proportion. All right, that's some Chinese ancient wisdom and a poetic expression. 山高水长. Cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.